the new design for the iOS 11 update. Things that are still there, we have the four-finger push, so if you place four fingers on the screen and push up for about an inch, you get your utilities and how you can close your apps. Also, if you do the full screen, you'll also get it. You have the four-finger swipe, so if I'm in two different apps, I can push four fingers across the screen, no matter if it's in portrait or landscape mode, it doesn't matter. You can swipe through your different screens. Also, you still have your one finger swipe from the top. It gives you your notifications, but if you're in the middle of the screen and swipe down once, you can do a search. You can search this and it'll search your notes, app store, news, any files that you've had on your device or have access to. One finger swipe up from the bottom also opens your utilities and notification center, utilities center. And but if you're in an app, you can swipe up from the bottom and you can also access your dock. That part is the new part. Your home button, if you press it quickly twice, it opens your control center. If you press quickly 3 times, if you have it enabled, it'll start your guided access. And if you are in an app and you press it once, it'll bring you back to the home screen. Now on to some new features for the iOS 11, and the first thing is our keyboard. The keyboard has changed drastically, but we can make changes. So if I'm just going into notes, you can now use your keys without swapping from a regular keyboard and swapping to numbers. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video or not, but once you get the iOS 11 update, you'll notice it. But on your regular keyboard with letters, you can now put in certain special characters or numbers without toggling between the two different keyboards. So like, I pull down, I can put in all of these numbers. Also, within a document or even in notes, you have new features right here and over here, but for here you can turn on the pencil and you can draw, you can color, and a note. This you can just select everything and it'll copy it and you can put it into pages or another document that you may have. Also, you have the eraser, and the eraser you can erase all that information and go back up here and still be able to type. This does the undo, and that was there before. This, now you can add in you can add in a table now. You can also scan, put items, add a sketch. So nice little stuff that you can do with your keyboard more now. But you can turn off these features. You can go into your settings, which I don't have open yet. You go into your settings, and if you go into general and then into your keyboard, you have your auto capitalization. You can turn all of these on and off. I hate that one. your key flicks is what it's calling it for having the shortcut to put in numbers or certain special characters. And you can turn that off. Now moving on into our App Store. The App Store has changed a lot. You can now go into your App Store and your main page is widgets instead. You can also find games. Has its own tab now. And you can also search for apps. So when I'm searching, I can search, I'm just going to go with, if I search for a Halloween game, I can put in filters. I can put in, so that just seems a lot easier. For displaying certain apps that we can use. I'm not sure where your apps are that you've had on your iPad already. This is a fresh new iPad, and I haven't updated any other devices, so I just wanted to get through some of these new features with the iOS 11 that affect everyone. Another new feature doesn't really pertain to some people, but it does to others. Now, when you're in your utilities, you can have airplane mode and your Wi-Fi on at the same time. The only thing I can think of to use this feature is obviously when you're on an airplane, but also when you're in a meeting, or you can't be disturbed if you're using your phone, or if your iPad gets your messages from your phone or from another device. It won't keep giving you all those notifications and doing things in the background for your iPad. The other part that's not a very good feature as well is turning off your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi. So when you restart your iPad, your Bluetooth is automatically always on. And so when you go to turn it off here, you're not actually turning off your Bluetooth. You actually do have to go into your Bluetooth to be able to turn it off. It does not turn it off with a toggle switch. Also, if you press and hold one of your items in your dock, it'll expand the menu so you can understand which items are on there for AirDrop, Airplane, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. One thing that I did find that was new, and I'll talk about it here more in a second, is this. You can do screen recordings now with your iPad. I have not mastered this yet, but I can guarantee you for what I do for a living, I will be using that a lot and doing a lot of app smashing with Stage Pro and iMovie and Photos and lots of apps. Believe me, yes. But this is also a good thing for you can turn your microphone on or off while you're recording. So you can do that screen recording with or without. I'll have a separate YouTube video once I've mastered that one. I tried playing around with it a little bit, but still having a hard time getting it to work the way I want it to. Next part I want to talk about is the dock, down here at the bottom. As you can see here, there is a line between these apps and this app, these apps. These apps are apps that are suggested or recently used apps. The good thing is that you can turn that on and off. I know for me that using it in education with the Munchkins, if you go into settings in general, multitasking and dock, you can, at the bottom, you can toggle the switch on and off to show suggested and recent apps. So turning that off gives you a shorter dock, but the best feature that I am totally excited about is now you can place more apps on your dock. You're not just stuck with 5 or 6 apps down there. You can put up to 11 apps on your dock now. I love that. Now I can have my quick access down here so that way it doesn't matter what screen I'm on to always be able to. Also, as you've noticed, as I'm moving these apps, they're not all wiggling. So I'm able to toggle them in and out of my dock without making them wiggle. And that's really awesome how they've made that now. But if I did want to delete some of these apps, I do still have to hold it for an extra couple of seconds to then be able to make them wiggle to be able to delete those apps. But I can move them around my screen just by holding for 1.5 seconds to put them on and off my dock, to place them onto another page. And so I think that's a nicer feature so that way you're not accidentally deleting an app. You can move it around pretty easily, and that's really good. Um, Going back to the utilities or control center or however you want to call it, swiping up one finger from the bottom, pressing your home button twice fairly quickly brings us up. And here, as you can see, I'll get onto a cleaner screen so that way you can see all those menu items behind. Um, they're separate and individual, and as I press and hold one of them, it'll give me more options. Obviously, I have a newer iPad, so it does have the flashlight feature on it, but not everyone does. But if I like hold the screen brightness, it then brings up, you can do your night shift, you can schedule it, you turn it on until 7 a.m. the next day and automatically turn off. It won't turn back on unless you schedule your settings. But I think that's really great. And they have a new feature that I haven't found much of a use for at the moment. But they also have the True Tone. The True Tone will show pictures and everything in its true tone versus the night shift, which you can't really tell on my screen recording of what the night shift coloring did. But like here on my music, if I click and hold it, I can display and it shows a larger display so I can still use parts of my control center. The other great thing that I saw is that you can turn your shortcuts. You can turn them on and off. To do this, you just need to go into your settings and it's then under Control Center, Customize Controls, and then you can turn um, them on or off because I can remove and then it'll move it down to the list below. And then just to add them back in, if you press the plus button, it puts them right back up there for you. So that way you have quick access to these tools now. So now now you're seeing more of those icons here on the right side. So holding it isn't doing anything, so you can't reorganize them that I can see, but at least I can get to my alarm and my timers and stopwatch. So you can closing your apps. Obviously, it looks different. I don't remember which one it was, but this one is an older version than I remember, though you can still do the swipe. They're just not in a long list. You can see each one of them individually in a small screen, which I think is nice. But for some people, closing apps a lot quicker is a lot harder. So a new feature that I think is going to be really great, even though in portrait mode it's not going to look that great, but we're still going to do it. So if I have another app and I want another app open beside it so I can multitask, if I swipe up from the dock and hold the app like I'm going to move it, and see how it turns into, I guess it's a little remote is what its icon, and see how the other app moved over. So you can put it on the left side or the right side. It doesn't matter which way you put it. Once it's there, here is to where you can move it around on the screen, but you can have it docked in place. So while it's there, if I just take a picture, hold it, drag it, and it is so easy to multitask now with my iPad. It's an amazing feature. To get rid of it, how you can see here in the center of the page, there's that grayish bar. If you hold that bar, you can adjust which screen is larger or smaller. But if you want to get rid of the second screen and just go back to your original screen, you just fully push one of them off the screen. It's a really great new feature, and having it in landscape mode would be so much better. Um, Closing apps, obviously, swipe up individually. There are a few more advanced features for people that have an iPhone or use of an iPad for email and other notifications. Um, all of these notifications are all together now, and some of it's a little bit clunky. You can go into your settings in your notifications, and in each of these you can toggle them on and off, whether they allow it. They have a sound or badge app icon show on the lock screen, which um, is kind of different. You can have it to show in your history. That is part of that dock expansion that I talked about earlier. Also as a show as a banner, so if I'm in an app, it's going to show a banner either at the top or the middle or the bottom, depending on how you have it set. So I know it's a long video, but some people need to be shown and some people like to have the printout. I will try and put it in my comments of a PDF that you can print out that has all this information and how to, if it went a little bit fast for you. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Comment, like, give me some feedback. That would be great. Have a great day.